Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about the while loops and also the break and continue commands, nested loops, and how we can improve the efficiency of our loop structure. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so in our last class, we have been introduced to the looping structure. Okay, in particular, we have look at the for loops. Okay, and then we have touched a little bit on this while loops. Okay, so the while loops are very similar to for loops. However, there's a difference between the while and for loops. Okay, the main difference is for loops, you know how many loop that you want to perform, that you want MATLAB to perform. However, in the while loops, you let MATLAB decides how many times that it needs to repeat the loops. Okay, so in while loops, the looping will continue until some criteria is met. So this is the structure of a simple while loop. Okay, so you're going to start with the word while, followed by whatever the criteria. Next line, which is the indent automatically by MATLAB, is the line of statements that need to be executed, and then end the while loops with a simple end. Okay, so if we look at the flow chart of a while loop here, okay, yang atas ni is the start ya. So the statements, bila you start the while loops, the statements is whatever inside this diamond flow chart shape here. Okay, the statements will be executed for every pass using the current value. Okay, so dia akan start, for example, you're going to start with dia akan check you punya statement tu whether the condition is true. Okay, if it is true, dia akan still follow the looping. Okay, so dia first complete of the loop, kita panggil satu pass. Okay, second completed looping, kita panggil second pass, and so on. The only way for MATLAB to exit the looping is when the criteria for whatever that you specify inside this diamond shape is no longer true. Okay, only then will MATLAB exit the program. Okay, so let's look at this example. This is a very simple example here. So we're going to start with this counter k. This is the index, k equals to 0. And then using while k less than 3. Okay, calculate k. K here is the new k. And then k plus 1. And then end the while structure with the F statement. Okay, so in this case, okay, bila you hit enter, you run. Okay, dekat command window, you boleh tengok these 3 different values of k. Okay, this indicate that there are 3 loops for this while structure. Okay, so the first pass tu, okay, dia ambil, dia guna value of k. Mula-mula dia initialize this k. Dia reset k tu as 0. Ni you punya initialization. So bila k equals to 0, k is less than 3. Okay, the condition is true. If the condition is true, dia akan calculate new value of k. So that's why k yang kat depan ni is the new k equals to k 0 plus 1. So k equals to 1. Okay. And then dia akan enter the loop again since the k is still less than 3. So, but for now, dia guna value of this k equals to 1. Okay. So, is k less than 3? Yes, because 1 less than 3 kan. Okay, so now new k is 1 plus 1, which is 2. Okay, so new k is still less than 3, so dia still inside the looping. Okay, and then calculate the new value of k. New value of k equals to the previous 2 plus 1, which is 3. Okay, so lepas 3, okay, dia akan evaluate. Is k 3 here is less than k? No. So the condition is not true, which is ataupun false. So MATLAB will exit the looping. So that's why for this simple while example here, dia stop sampai 3. Okay. In while structure, you have to increment this counter, in this case k ni is the counter every time throughout the loop, or else the loop will never stop. Okay, let's see this next example. Okay, so in this next example, okay, almost similar to the previous example, except that we're going to use we're going to create matrix A, one element at a time. Okay, because this is 5 to the power of k. Okay, ni this statement here kita nak guna this statement here to define a matrix. Okay, so this is the code. Okay, so you entered all this code in your script editor, and then when you hit run, the code will return as this following, as you can see in your command window. Okay, so this is how you define a matrix using the while looping. Okay, so you can see that each time through the loop, okay, another element is added to the matrix A. In this case, let me show you. Okay, so this is the first pass. Okay, you hanya ada satu elemen. So the second pass, dia add up another second element, and then the third pass dia tambah lagi. So you have this 3 elements. Okay. In this next example, okay, loop, the while loop is used to as a counter. I mean, kita guna while loops ni so that kita boleh count how many times a condition is true by incorporating this if statement. Okay, so in this case, this program will count how many scores in the array are greater than 90. So, and display the results in the command window. Okay, so we have this score vector, and then this is ni important because kita initialize the counter first. Okay, and then this is our index. Okay, let's see if ada. Okay, tak ada flowchart. Okay, so in the first pass tu, Okay, since kita set kita punya K ni is equal to 0 first, kita initialize kita punya K ni. Okay, so new K will be 0 plus 1, K sama dengan 1. So if scores K is greater than 90, counter tu dia increase to 1. Okay. So the variable count ni, okay, this variable count, okay, basically kita guna ni untuk count how many values are greater than 90. Meanwhile, this variable K is used to count how many times the loop is executed. So K ni untuk count how many times the loop is executed. The count variable ni is to count how many values are greater than 90. Right, so while K is less than 4, okay, dia less than 4 because kita ada 1, 2, 3, 4 elements here inside this closed vector. Okay, so K equals to K plus 1. So if scores for that particular K is greater than 90, counter tu akan increase to 1. Okay, and then this is how kita print out this string ni as output to command window. Okay, so this is the sometimes, okay, you might be accidentally create a loop that just keeps running, okay, because looping ni dia akan keep running inside the loop. Sometimes you salah masukkan syntax ke, you salah identify dia punya index variable ke, and then dia still busy running the loop. Okay, tak tahu bila dia nak stop kan. Okay, you boleh force the stop, okay, by klik, okay, dekat keyboard you tu tekan Ctrl and C. Ctrl and C, tekan dua-dua sekali. Okay, tapi make sure you punya active window tu is the command window. Lepas tu you boleh force exit the calculation manually by clicking this Ctrl plus C button. Ctrl plus C button from your keyboard. Okay, so next we have this break and continue command. Okay, so the break command can be used to terminate a loop prematurely. Okay, means kita tak perlu tunggu the looping to end. Okay, that's why prematurely. Okay, maksudnya while dia still doing the comparison, okay, you boleh terminate the loop by using the break command. And continue is used to skip a pass through the loop but continue on until the criteria for ending is met. Okay, these two break and continue command are used in conjunction with an if statement. Okay, we're going to see an example here. So let's look at this example. Okay, so this program prompts the user 10 times to enter a value and compute the natural log. If a negative value is entered, the break command causes MATLAB to exit the loop. Okay, let me demonstrate you by using our MATLAB editor. Okay, so this is an example for break and continue command. While n is less than 10, so this is the new counter, n equals to n plus 1. A is input. Okay, I'm going to use this from input, enter a value greater than 0. If A is, this is my logical comparison, display, you must enter a positive number. Display, this program will terminate. Break, okay, I'm using the break, and then this is another display. The natural log of that number is display. Okay, log in MATLAB is the natural log, ln to ln. Okay, remember to end your while loop with the word n. Okay, let's run. Okay, so as you can see here, this program, okay, ask ataupun prompt user to enter a value greater than 0 for 10 times. This is the counter, n equals to 10. Okay, so I entered 5. Okay, bila saya masukkan value greater than 0, okay, what this program do is it will calculate the natural log of that number and then display it like this in command window. Okay, and then dia keep asking because it is in a while loop. Okay, so n ni should be less than 10. Okay, saya kena masukkan, okay, this is second, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so tengok sini, n equals to 10. Bila dah sampai 10, dia akan exit from the while loop. Okay, so if you can see here, n ni, our counter for n ni is initialized outside the loop. So each time true, the input command is used to ask for a positive number. Okay, lepas tu limit ni, this one ni, kita guna input command ni untuk ask for input for positive number, and then dia akan check. Kita guna if statement ni to check if the number is positive. Okay, so less than or equals to 0. If the number tu is positive atau is negative atau 0, dia akan display this statement. Okay, else, okay, kalau you masukkan positive number, dia akan calculate this natural logarithm. Okay, so ni break ni kita guna to terminate the loop. Okay, sekarang saya nak demonstrate how the break is function for this program. Okay, so run again. So let's see, saya masukkan value negative. Okay, as you can see, dia terus terminate the program. Maksudnya dia just evaluate this first part je. Okay, faham kan kenapa, maksud saya kenapa break ni kat sini? Sebab lepas if statement ni dia akan check dulu. Okay, so bila saya memasukkan negative number, okay, which mean if ni for this comparison ni is true, so dia akan break. Maksudnya dia akan terus terminate the program. Okay, dia takkan continue inside the looping. Maksudnya dia takkan masuk lagi lah. Kenapa dia tak minta lagi value, the next value sampai dia dapat input positive number tu? Okay, tak, because saya gunakan this break command. So dia akan terminate the statement. Okay, and then let's see next example. Okay, how about kalau this one here. Okay, let's clear the screen first. Okay, how about kita try. Okay, so kalau for the first time saya entered negative number, the program will terminate. Okay, this is caused by this break command. Okay, what if for the first time I enter positive number? Okay, now suddenly saya enter a negative number. Okay, dia also will be terminated. Okay, so it doesn't matter berapa banyak looping pun yang dia dah masuk, whether ini kat the first loop ke, in the middle of the loop ke, okay, dia akan still compare the buat comparison of the logical expression, okay, and then break the program once this comparison is true. Right? Okay, so in this next example, okay, kalau you tengok kat sini tadi, n ni adalah 5. Okay, kalau kat sini contoh ni, n sama dengan 2. Notice that n had a value of 3 when the program terminated. If it had run to completion, it would have had a value of 10. Okay, so yang tadi, yang for my example tadi ni, n saya dengan sampai dengan 5 pass je, dia terus terminate. Okay, because saya entered the negative value. Okay, so kalau saya completekan the while looping tu, it would have been 10 as I showed earlier lah, first time when saya run this program. Okay, then let's look at this continue command. Is similar to break, however, instead of terminating the loop, the program just skips to the next pass. Okay, so dia skip je, dia tak terminate the program. Okay, let's look at this example here. Okay, so kita akan guna the same coding, try again, tapi kita tukar from break to continue. Okay, I'm going to change a little bit of this program. Okay, then run. Okay, dia still akan saya try sampai 10 dulu. Okay, n sama 10 complete, so saya run again. Now saya nak demonstrate the use of this continue. So okay, at the pass number 3 here, I'm going to enter a negative number. Okay, tengok dekat command window ni, dia kata try again and then enter a value. Dia still minta the positive number. Okay, so tak kisah you enter beberapa banyak kali pun. Okay, tengok sekali lagi saya demo. Okay, so yang ni positif 4. Okay, so now I'm going to 1 2 3 4. Okay, so with this continue, if you can see here, okay, kita tengok dekat command window ya. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. Okay, sampai after pass number 6, Maksudnya pas yang ketujuh tu saya dah start masukkan negative number. Okay, so dia akan continue sampai dia complete the while looping tu for n sama dengan 10. 10 pass. Okay. So once you dah start masukkan negative number tu, dia akan minta the new positive number value, tapi dia akan complete the still, dan dia akan still continue the looping tu until n tu equals to 10. Okay. And then we have this midpoint break loops. Okay, this is implemented with either a for or a while loops. Okay, so the loop is entered, calculation process, decision is made at an arbitrary point whether or not to continue. Okay, so this is what in our previous section yang saya describe as the looping tu. Okay, that are the example for the midpoint break loops. Okay, so this is the way the loop constructs is executed. Okay, dia enter, process calculation, and then buat decision based on whether the comparison is true or not, or whether to exit or not exit. Okay. In a while structure, the loop continues to repeat until the criteria specified in the first line of the loop is false. Okay, for example, while whatever criteria statement, and then this is the statement to do some calculations and then make a decision on whether to continue or do some more calculations and then end. Okay, let's see an example here. So we have while 1. Okay, so while 1 ni will allow the loop to continue executing for an infinite number of iterations. Okay, so the decision to exit the loop is controlled by the if break structure. Okay, so if and break structure ni will cause the loop dia yang control whether the loop should be terminated or not. Okay, let's consider this example here. So this is a program that prompt user to enter the number of candy bars purchased and then find the cost to the user. If the user enters a negative number, the program should prompt the user to try again. If a positive number is entered, the program completes the calculations and exits the loops. Okay, let's try this code inside our editor file. Okay, so while 1 ni, so that our loop will continue executing infinitely. Okay, so sorry, sebab saya copy je sebab saya nak indent supaya senang sikit saya nak nampak. So if number of candy bar is less than 0, okay, prompt the user to enter a positive number, else calculate and then use fprintf. Okay, and then break, and n is for else. going to indent it to the right. Okay, so that saya boleh nampak. So else, and ni untuk else ni, sorry, and ni untuk if ni, if else ni, while ni untuk and ni. Sebab tu ada dua and here. Okay, so let's run here. For example, you masukkan positive number dulu, and then dia akan calculate the total cost using this statement. Okay, let's see what happen if you masukkan the negative number. Okay, must be a positive number. Okay, so you can see here it is a never ending looping. Okay, because the program will keep prompt the user for a positive value. Okay, dia akan keep prompt sampai dia dapat positive value here. Okay, so finally saya masukkan value of 9 and then dia akan exit the looping. Okay, this is happen because of this while one here. Okay, that's why dia punya looping tu is a never ending loop. Okay, to get around with this, I mean supaya dia tak sentiasa berada dalam that never ending loop. Okay, one strategy is you can use the for loop. Okay, for loop. With for loop, you know how many number of loops or how many number of iterations. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying this. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so bila saya run, let's say saya masukkan the negative value. Okay, so dia akan exit the loop sampai K tu lebih daripada 3. Maksudnya dia akan stop at K equals to 3. Okay, so lepas 3 iteration, the loop will end. Okay, so that's one way. Okay, if you can see macam mana kita manipulate whether we are going to use while or a for loop. Okay, we also have the nested loops. Okay, so nested ni, maybe you are familiar with the nested functions. Okay, it almost similar. So it is useful to nest loops inside of other loops. Okay, probably bila kita nak develop a more complex program. So to illustrate, let's consider the code to mimic the built-in max function. Okay, so let's use this 4x4 matrix X. So if you use the max function here, okay, MATLAB will return the maximum value in each column. So max function, max ni is the built-in function inside MATLAB ya. So bila you call the max X, X ni kita punya input input argument. Okay, so answer on your command window ni is the maximum value for each column of that matrix X. For example, the first column maximum value is 12, second column maximum value is 18, 6 and 13. Okay, so you can also achieve the similar results by using the nested for loops. Okay, ni the second part ni. Oh, saya nak keluarkan pen sekejap. Okay, so ni kita guna for loops ni. Okay, to achieve the same result as what we can achieve with the max function. Okay, so first we need to determine the dimensions of the X array. Okay, so determine the dimension using the size function. Okay, this one kita determine the dimension of this X matrix, and then use that information to create the external for loop. Okay, so external for loop ni kita program to execute once for each column, one for each column in the array. Okay, and then we define a provisional value for the maximum based on the first value in each column. Finally, we can use an internal for loop which will execute once for each row in the array. Okay, dia dapat kompleks kan? Dia lagi senang kalau guna max function tu, but it's doable, don't worry. So, this is our index atau vector tadi. Okay, so for ni how many loop? Okay, so for K equals to, this is the external loop. Okay, starting from 1 for each column in the array. Okay, and then max ni. Okay, so find the maximum for that column. Okay, find the maximum K based on the first value in each column. Okay, ini maksud dia. Maximum K ni is the condition to find the maximum value based on the first value in each column. Okay, and then there's another for loop here, which is an internal for loop. So that internal for loop ni will execute once for each row in the array. Okay, ni untuk row, yang ni untuk column. Okay, so this one kita iris sekejap. Okay, so I'm going to show you the so starting from 4 ni. Okay, this is the external loop. So nested loops tu dia ada a few loops inside the loops. Okay, so the maximum ni is the internal loop. This is the internal loop, and then this one for n here. Okay, this is the if structure. You enclose the if structure. Okay. Okay. So, in general, using a for loop or while loop is less efficient in MATLAB than using an array operations. Okay, so you boleh tengok macam saya tukarkan while loops tadi. Yang saya tukarkan while loops, this one into for loops. Okay, so looping ni memang dia time consuming. So bila dia time consuming, dia akan affect the efficiency of the MATLAB. Right, so in any way possible, bila you boleh guna the vectorization approach, okay, macam guna find command, find function tu, it's better to do that than using the while loop ataupun for loops. Okay, these are what is it? This is just to demonstrate. Okay, the amount of time it takes to run this code depend on your computer and how much else you have installed on it. Okay, for example, using these two lines, okay, dia akan start timer to measure the elapsed time required to run the lines of MATLAB code between them. Okay, let's try this. Okay, ni just nak start the clock function. Ni clock function. So this clock function, and then kita guna e-time ni to compress the current time with the initial time and subtract the two values to give the elapsed time. So just kita nak tunjuk how many time does it take to execute this program. Okay, so kita run. Okay, dia actually depends on your computer. Okay, result from my computer dengan your computer might be different. Okay, so this clock and E time ni, dia akan measure how long the CPU work between receiving the original and final timing request. Okay, because saya punya ni memang lambat sikit lah sebab saya memang ada banyak program lain yang saya buka dalam komputer ni. Dia ada 2 screen ni, sini ada, kat sebelah sini pun ada. So that's why dia 0.034 seconds Okay, you mungkin dapat 0 seconds. Okay, saya ada banyak background program is running simultaneously. Alright, so we can also measure the time required to perform the same calculations with a loop. Okay. Okay, so first we need to clear the memory and recreate the array of ones. Okay, so let's clear and recreate an array of ones. Okay, ini matrix of ones only. Oh, sorry, saya letak kat sini. Okay, and then guna that clock and E time function. Okay, lepas tu run. So, saya dapat result dia as 0.071. Okay, yang ni bila saya guna for and this one here is when I'm using the vector, the normal, the command, the normal function, the normal command ni without using the looping. Okay, so without using the looping. Okay, so sekarang time saya kosong. So ni with the looping, the for loop 0.068. Okay, so as I said before, results ni dependent on your computer. Okay, so just nak demonstrate you that yelah, dia menggunakan for loop ni will affect the efficiency of your program. Okay, so you can reduce the time required for this calculation by creating the B matrix first. Okay, so nak reduce the time required, so kita nak adjust ni. So here kita nak create B matrix of ones. B equals to A. Okay, let's run again. So notice yang mula-mula tadi 0.068. So bila saya run, okay, dia slightly decrease lah. Sekarang 0.054. Okay, so sekarang memang nampak macam ala 0.05, 0.06 je. Okay, memanglah tak nampak sangat beza because the code pun pendek kan, tak lengthy. Okay, so when it evolve banyak sangat coding atau program, dia memang akan affect you punya time you to execute the looping tu. Okay, so in MATLAB also kita ada this TikTok. Where is the TikTok? Okay, this one. We have this alternate syntax for timing. Use the tick and tock function. The tick and tock functions. Okay, the purpose is sama je macam clock and E time functions. Okay, but the code dia hanyalah tick and tock. Okay, let's try on your MATLAB editor here. Okay, so saya edit je kat sini. So tick ni untuk start timer. Okay, and then this one ni is to find the time. Okay, so run. So elapsed time is 0.051. Okay, so the difference in between the execution time ni is expected. Okay, because the computer ni dia ada busy doing different things on the background. Okay. The clock and e-time and also TikTok comments measure the elapsed time, not the time devoted to just this program's execution. Right? Okay, I think that's all for this chapter, the repetition chapter. Okay, let's check out this hint. Okay, be sure to suppress. So suppress intermediate calculation ni is by entering this semicolon symbol. Okay, bila you nak buat looping tu, so that dia tak print out dia punya output on the command window. Okay, because printing those values to the screen will increase the amount of execution time. Okay, you can try this. Don't forget, yes, you can stop the execution manually by click Ctrl and C. Okay, you combine Ctrl and C from your keyboard, but make sure you punya command window needs to be active. Command window needs to be active means, okay, you click you punya mouse tu on command window, lepas tu baru you hit Ctrl C. Kalau you punya macam nak tahu active, dia colour biru. Kalau you punya active window is workspace, you click Ctrl C, tak akan jadi. Okay. Okay, then that's all. I've stopped here, and then we are going to look at few examples for selection and repetition structure.